I founded IPOB for the good of Ndibo. Nnamdi Kanu tells court as he answers the question being thrown to him by the presiding judge, named James Omotosho. They try to snuff life out of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and to indict more Igbo people or Biafrans into the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, but the guy, even the so-called James Omotosho, is not as brilliant as Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. You can tell me any leader in Nigeria, both past and present, that you can use their what would I call it, their brain or a kind of intellectuals to be compared with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. There is none. All of them are mere fools. You can imagine a country where the Senate president went to Vatican and they asked him very simple question. Just give a very simple question. And this guy went on to demarcate the so-called zoo. But today, all of them are jumping up and down. That Peter Obi went to US, Hopkins University, demarcating Nigeria, do this and do that. Akpabio indicted. Sanwo-Olu indicted. Gbajabiamila indicted. Tinubu indicted. Badaru indicted. Metawale indicted. All of them, all these people are in government house, in government of APC, and all of them have been indicted worldwide in the US. FBI, what do I call it, Interpol have their records. All these ones are not the marketing their so-called country. Now wow. Anyway, I don't blame them. The only thing, my only prayer, and I will keep on saying amen to that prayer, is that Nigeria will keep on happening to Peter Obi until he learn the hard way. You want to suffocate Mazi Nnamdi Kanu with question on who is operating with, so that you can go out there tomorrow and begin to kill innocent Biafrans. But the young man tell you, I founded this and I do it alone. You cannot teach me or come and by force me or cajole me or gaslight me into telling you, oh, I have group of people, this one is the name, that one is the name, simply because you want to prove a point. My people, I beg you, this message now waiting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu answered, and also the message he sent out there to them who think that he's going to give up because of the incarceration. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, Muawo Odogu Ahamadike one na Biafra. Na muwa kugishi weche bring poro. Ige encho ofuma. Ega anebo kuri yana court. He said it very loud and clear, but no Igbo. For Ndi Igbo be there to commiserate with him or to come and at least cheer him up. Now, these people can never cajole me into giving a false testimony simply because I want to get my freedom. He said nothing of such will happen. So this message goes to all the whole Biafrans out there. In case you have been planning or your stand with the Biafran government, I've been shaking, my dear. In fact, from this moment, let it stand gidigam. Somebody is out there on the cold, on the sun, on the winter. Somebody is out there. No communication, nothing whatsoever. Do you know how boring it is? Can you out here now as a Biafran or as an Igbo man, as somebody from the south, just stay 24 hours without no light? Okay, let's say with light, but there is nothing inside your room, just only light they give you. Okay, they put AC for you. No gadget for you to watch, no paper for you to read. There's no any communication. You have been excommunicated entirely from the entire world, from a country of over 200 and something to 300 million. How are you going to feel? That is what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is passing through. Upon all these things, he still stand on his ground. But look at our fellow Biafrans who said that they are championing this cause of Biafra. Any small shaking, they don't jump from A to B. Any small shaking, they don't jump from B to A. Telling you that this one is don't know. If you are a true fighter of Biafra, my brother, wherever you are, stand there strong and prove a point. That is what I'm trying to say here. Whether you belong to AO or you belong to BO, unless what you are doing is not real, you are just there for content creating, or you are just there so that you can make money. But if you are really fighting for Biafra, my brother, with what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa is passing through, and what Ojukwu passed through during his own time, one day you need to stay strong wherever you are. When the time is right, the God of justice will justify you. That is where I am coming from. So let us read the news for reading sake. And according to another information here from the Family Writers Press International, I said, justice or injustice, examine the legal battles surrounding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and his quest for Biafra self-determination. Another one here says, the implications of Kanu's court case, the implications, what this is going to do to that zoo, both locally, Africanly, and internationally. The implications of Kanu's court case for Biafran aspirations and the Nigerian discourse. Anyway, these three headlines is what we are going to take this morning as we bring to you this important information from the office of Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of indigenous people of Biafra. You can as well call him the Ohamadike one of Igbo land. Oh yeah, my people, also to go, let's go there. Also, game, please like, share, comment, and keep subscribing. Happy new month to you all. This month of May, you must surely have every cost to glorify the name of Chukwuka Abiyama. You must surely celebrate whether the devil like it or not. I don't care what you are passing through. I don't care how far you have gone, looking for the fruit of the womb, looking for financial breakthrough, or maybe you are looking to have your own establishment, either a business or you want to have become a landlord of your own, my brother, my sister. From this day onwards, today marks the beginning of good things in your life. If you believe that, let me hear a louder amen at the comment section. Oya, let's go there. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, admitted in court to founding both IPOB and Radio Biafra, the online platform through which he addresses followers across the world. Ibere TV reports. Speaking during proceedings at the Fulani Federal High Court in Abuja, Nnamdi Kanu stated that he started a movement for the overall good of the Igbo people. According to him, all his broadcasts were public and available on Facebook, YouTube, dismissing claims that IPOB operates as a secret organization. How can he operate as a secret organization? An organization that have been registered in UK, US, Canada, all these countries of top priority. And he said, oh, who do zoo? Anyway, let us continue. When questioned by the Department of State Service DSS about individuals he was working with, Kanu maintained that he works alone and personally handles all broadcasts on Radio Biafra. The presiding judge also ordered that a video recording of Kanu's interrogation be played in the court as part of the ongoing trial. More details is going to emerge very soon, and I'll be glad to present it to you, or I'll be glad for you to be the first to hear the more details on this. Just keep on waiting, because tomorrow is another day that we are going to go out there to express our love and support to our leader Nnamdi Kanu. Don't forget, tomorrow have to be a voluntary sit at home in case you are wondering what we are going to do. That is the only way you can show your support to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Anyway, when just injustice becomes law, resistance becomes duty. This timeless quote, often attributed to Thomas Jefferson, captured the spirit of Nnamdi Kanu's non-violence and the larger Biafran agitation that continues to shake the very foundation of Nigeria's so-called democracy. Kanu's ordeal is not just a personal struggle. It is a mirror exposing the deep cracks in Nigeria's justice system, the hypocrisy of its government, and the unhealed wounds of a nation still haunted by the ghost of Biafra. The story of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is no longer just about Biafra. It is now also a test of Nigeria's commitment to the rule of law. Arrested in 2015 for broadcasting in Radio Biafra and peacefully calling for a referendum, Kanu was accused of treasonable felony. Yet, his real offense in the eyes of the Nigerian state was daring to challenge the status quo and give voice to millions of marginalized Igbo people. After spending over a year and in detention against court orders, Kanu was granted bail in the year 2017 under the harsh conditions. But instead of allowing justice to run its course, the Nigerian military stormed his residence in Afaruku, Ibeku during what they termed Operation Python Dance, killing unarmed civilians and forcing Kanu into exile. That was not law enforcement, it was a state-sponsored assault. Anyway, as we move forward, the most outrageous violation came in June of 2021 when Kanu was abducted in Kenya and brought back to Nigeria in what has now been globally condemned as extraordinary rendition, an illegal act under both international and Nigerian laws. There was no extradition process, no hearing, no transparency. The Nigerian government kidnapped a man from another sovereign state and paraded him like a trophy or like a common criminal. This was not justice. It was a criminal operation disguised as statecraft. So, they are in for a long ride. Even the Nigerian Court of Appeal ruled on October 2022 that the federal government had no legal basis to prosecute Kanu since his rendition violated due process. Yet, the Buhari-led administration and now the Tinubu government have refused to obey court orders, proving that in Nigeria, the government only obeys the law when it serves their interests. Despite multiple judgments from both domestic and international courts demanding his release, the Nigerian government continues to detain Kanu at the DSS facility in Abuja. They have cited national security concerns, but this excuse is as hollow as the institution upholding it. What national security threat does an unarmed man with just a microphone pose? Boko Haram commanders have been released and rehabilitated. Niger Delta militants were offered amnesty and billions in contracts, but Kanu, who never picked up arms, is held like a war criminal. Why are Biafrans nations treated with such disdain? Let us look into it. The government statement of Nnamdi Kanu reveals Nigeria's dangerous double standards when bandits, Fulani herdsmen, and terrorists kill innocents in the north and middle belt. They are negotiated with, granted pardons, or simply ignored. But when an Igbo man demands freedom through a microphone, he is hunted like a wild animal. These actions are not just injustice against Kanu, they are indictments of a federal system that claims to be united but treats one region as a conquered territory. The continued prosecution of IPOB and its leadership exposes the deep ethnic bias within Nigeria's security architecture and political elite. The silence of the international community is the defining countries that preach democracy and human rights have looked away as Nigeria commits flagrant violations of international laws. Kanu's illegal rendition from Kenya was a breach of sovereignty and should have attracted sanctions. But because the victims are Igbo and the agitator is Biafra, the world shrugs. In fact, they look the other way around. What happened to the United Nations Charter on the rights of self-determination? What happens to the African Union's principles on fair trial and due process? When did the geopolitics become more important than human rights? Nigeria government must understand one truth. No amount of force can crush an idea whose time has come. The continued detention of Nnamdi Kanu is not weakening the Biafra movement. It is strengthening it. In fact, it gives the Biafrans more power and more strength to push. If Nigeria truly desires peace and unity, it must release Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally as ordered by the courts, apologize for the illegal rendition, and begin a genuine dialogue with stakeholders in the southeast. Justice must not only be done, it must be seen to be done. Anything less is what we call tyranny. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu represents more than just a political figure. He is a symbol of resistance against oppressions, of hope for the voiceless, and of courage in the face of injustice. His case is a test of whether Nigeria still has any respect for the rule of law or whether it has truly descended into authoritarianism disguised as democracy. History will remember this moment. The question is, will Nigeria be remembered as a nation that upheld justice or one that silenced it with guns and gags? Family Writers Press International. The last but not the least, the implications of Kanu's court case for Biafran aspirations and the Nigerian discourse. The trial of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, which have resumed on 29th of April 2025, proceeded to 2nd of May 2025 as well, poses significant implications for both Nigeria and the Biafra topic. Understand that Nigeria committed an international crime of extraordinary rendition in June of 2021 when officers of the State Secret Service kidnapped and renditioned Mazi Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya to Nigeria without following extradition proceedings. Has since dented the already damaged public image of Nigeria on the international stage. Consequently, on 13th of October 2022, the Nigerian Appellate Court found Nigeria guilty of committing extraordinary rendition, an international sanctionable crime, and therefore discharged and acquitted Kanu and also barred courts in Nigeria from further entertaining the case. In other words, did they obey it? Rather, they said Nehikaba. However, the Nigerian government refused to respect and abide by these rulings of its own court. Instead, illegally keeping Nnamdi Kanu detained in solitary confinement for almost 4 years and some months in DSS dungeon in Abuja. Judging through these deliberate infractions committed by the Nigerian government and the continuance of Nnamdi Kanu's case, despite being acquitted by the court, the IPOB leaders' case has drawn local and international interest and concerns who are monitoring how the Nigerian government and judiciary chooses to handle the case, and even on the border Biafran topic, implying that Nigeria is currently on the radar of global scrutiny, already under heavy pressure from both local and global stakeholders. The Nigerian government and judiciary are being held responsible for how Kanu's trial involving extraordinary rendition, which it is guilty of, along with the right to self-determination, will be handled by the Nigeria judiciary. Also, Kanu's case, set to resume on Tuesday, marks the beginning of a continued test of integrity, honesty, and the independence of the judicial toward upholding justice, rule of law, and the principles of the Nigerian Constitution, especially for the Nigerian judges and justices assigned to Kanu's case, a time when the integrity and interest clash. The Nigerian judiciary will, from 2nd of May 2025, placed under immense public examinations as the decisions and declarations will in greater proportion shape the current volatile polity of Nigeria and the future generations. Posterity and history are ready to note their pronouncement in Kanu's case. The trial will also bring the issue of Biafra self-determination to the front burner, with interest seeking clarifications about the about the Biafra restoration project. The Nigerian judiciary comes under public evaluations following their actions, decisions, and pronouncement on right to self-determination, particularly as enshrined in the various ratified local and international laws which Nigeria is signatory to. Nigerian judges and justices are urged to ensure they uphold the principles of these laws binding on the Nigerian government. Kanu's case, or rather Kanu's court case, ultimately holds a significant key to the dosing or aggravating the palpable tensions and grievances witnessed across Nigeria, ranging from the Nigerian government, the radicalization and rehabilitation of Boko Haram terrorists, to the Fulani herdsmen terrorists, insecurity ravaging the whole country. The Nigerian judiciary must stand on the path of justice and fairness in accordance to provisions of the Constitution while handling the IPOB leaders' case. If the tensions and agitations growing in the country matter to him, or rather to them, a country that strives to exist without justice ends up inviting chaos and anarchy. With Nigeria to the path of wise counsel, the time is now, and it is ticking so fast. This message is from the Family Writers Press International, bringing to you to your doorstep. So my people, and I don't hear them finish, do you need any soothsayer to tell you that Nnamdi Kanu have vowed that he will remain in custody not until his heart desires have been granted, which is coming out with the Biafra flag raised high on top of his head? And it must surely happen, because that young man is determined to do everything within his power to make sure that the Biafrans, the Igbos, most especially from the south, that's the whole old eastern region, are not being marginalized again. This fight is what our future generation are going to enjoy. We might not enjoy it, but thank God we have somebody like him and somebody like Mazi Nnamdi, Mazi Simon Ekpa and the Dr. Ngozi Orabueze, who have sworn that they will never rest until justice is served. Anyway, my people, now here we go take a break and I go hear our voice again when we come back. And more of this discussion will continue in our next video. Continue liking, sharing, commenting, and make sure you continue to subscribe for more interesting videos. I will be right back to give you more details on the court sitting tomorrow. Don't forget, voluntarily sit at home. If you are within that Biafra territory, if you touch your heart to at least show solidarity to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, endeavor to lock your shops, and the rest belongs to God Almighty, which is said, Chukwu Oke Abiyama. My wonderful people.